everybody, it's Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And this is Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast, where we rate your favorite animals out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We're not zoological experts, but we try our best to bring the most accurate information we can.
I'm very proud of you for wrangling a Capri-Sun away from the cat. Christian just successfully fought a cat over a Capri-Sun.
He can't even use a straw.
Why does he do this to us every day?
Humans 1, cats 0.
That's true. Maybe he should evolve thumbs. Get absolutely dunked on.
And whatever the mouth anatomy is required to use a straw.
Christian was getting out a Capri-Sun, and the cat just started like chewing on the corner of it. It seemed like he was trying to like pull it away. I was like, what would you even do with that if you got it? You know what he would do? He would puncture it and the juice would start getting everywhere, and then he would be really upset about it.
No, his only goal is to deprive me of the juice.
That's true. It's not about it's about taking something away from you. It's about inconveniencing you specifically, as it usually is. And then you got a Capri-Sun, and then I had to delay recording time to I had to wait for you to open and drink your Capri-Sun before we could record this. I should have gotten that as an ASMR. That could be for the bonus feed.
Yeah.
Some bonus content, some Capri-Sun ASMR.
That'll probably be so popular.
Yeah. That's where the big money comes in. That's the real moneymaker of Just the Two of Us. I am so excited to talk about the animal that we're talking about this week because it's a little bit of a treat for me.
Okay, what animal is it?
A few episodes ago, I mentioned that I really, really wanted to talk about this animal and that if anyone asked me to do it, I would do it. And someone did. It's the bluestreak cleaner wrasse.
Oh, okay.
Also called the cleaner fish. There are many types of cleaner fish. There are many types of fish who do clean. This is one of them, but this is by far the most sort of iconic and well-studied, especially within the last 7 or so years for specific reasons I'll get into later. Okay. But they're very well-studied. There's a lot of really interesting information out there about what they can do.
I was going to say, you said someone asked. Who asked?
Yes, so me.
I was going to say.
I put out into the world that I really wanted to talk about them, and then that was sort of followed up on by Jin in our Discord.
Okay. Who
mentioned that they would really like to hear about this
Very
animal.
Good.
And I was like, man, you're really twisting my arm. Oh, man, I guess I have to. But you know what? I've had a tough couple of months. I've been through the ringer. I need a dub. I wanted to do one for me.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, I'm treating myself to something that I've been gnawing at the bars of my enclosure to talk about for a very long time. And I really fell into some interesting rabbit holes on this one. So I'm really excited to share with you.
Awesome.
The scientific name is Labroides dimidiatus.
Okay.
You know, Doug Dimidiatus, owner of the Dimsdale.
Oh.
Dimidiodome.
Oh, boy. Strong start.
You can tell what kind of mood I've been in today. Now, this is usually where I tell people where I get my information from. I read 11 different academic papers for this.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So rather than citing each one individually, I'm just going to have to do a works cited. I think I'm just going to say number 1, number 2, number 3. And then the episode description, I'll have fully titles and authors and links and stuff. So you guys are just going to have to go because there is no way that I'm going to sit here and read out 11 different paper citations on the podcast. That will be unlistenable.
We should do that thing where we pay a celebrity $5 to read off the citations.
Oh, get a cameo?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Who do you think would do academic citations
Mark
as a cameo?
Hamill.
Yeah, he's got nothing better to do. He's not busy.
I want a different voice for every paper.
A bespoke character for each citation. That would be really fun. Maybe you could do them. We've got an in-house. We've already got the setup for it. You can do my works cited for me.
Oh, okay.
But you have to do a different voice for each one.
Okay, but you have to let me edit it in, and you cannot listen to it until it's in the live feed.
It's unthinkable. I'm not letting you touch this. Never have, never will.
Or wait, you say leave a 5-minute block, and then I give you a 5-minute recording that you don't listen to.
That I have to just blind edit in. Not a chance. You're dreaming.
Well,
hard pass. So I'm going to basically just like give, just like the way they would in a paper, like I'll say like citation 1, citation 2, citation 3.
Sure.
And then people can just go into the episode description to see the full, like if you want to go read these papers and stuff. They're fascinating papers. I loved them. Loved every minute of it. Now, if you've ever seen a fish on a coral reef that is being sort of primped and groomed by this tiny little fish, it's slender, it has a black stripe down the side of its body, that is the cleaner wrasse. Like I mentioned, there are many fish who perform cleaning services. This is just one of them, but this is definitely like the one that there's the most literature about.
Okay.
They are typically around 4 inches or 10 centimeters long, about the dimensions of like one of the fingers on your hand, probably. They are found in tropical coral reefs, particularly in the Indian and Western Pacific Oceans. They belong to the taxonomic family of Labridae, which are the wrasses. Do you remember when we've talked about wrasses in the past? Does anything come to mind when I say wrasse? That's spelled with a silent W, by the way, like W-R-A-S-S.
I mean, in the same way that right.
Yeah, I guess. Sure. But like, does that conjure anything? Does that trigger any memories for you? Can you think of anything else that was in this family?
Was it maybe the mud skipper? Or
ooh, that's a
maybe,
goby. I think that one's a goby.
Or maybe the kissing fish.
Oh, gouramis, which I don't think we've actually talked about on this show. But no, not gouramis. Parrotfish are a type of wrasse, which is weird, right? They're so different.
See, now I'm doubting if I'm picturing the right fish.
You are. This is just a very, very strange family.
Okay.
Like the family of wrasses, wide variety of shapes and sizes.
Oh, we talked about this because of the humphead wrasse.
Yes. Humphead wrasses are the largest member of the wrasse family.
Yes.
So those things are huge.
What connected those was because of Dave the Diver for me.
Wow.
which has both of those fish in it.
Yeah, so we actually, if anyone is interested in hearing more about the wrasse family, way back in episode 51, I talked with a taxonomist who actually specializes in wrasses named Cited. So anyone can go back and listen to that. We also did an episode on parrotfish more recently. That was episode 289. So in the wrasse family, you get all the way from these tiny little fairy wrasses that can be just like a couple inches long. They're super tiny. They're really colorful and cute, all the way up to these massive like parrotfishes and humpheads and stuff that can be like a gazillion pounds. So wide variety, and also like a lot of morphological variety, right? Like parrotfish are like, with their really specialized beaks and jaws and stuff, you get like a lot of specialization. There's over 600 species of wrasse.
Wow.
And so each one of them is kind of like slotted into different places in their ecosystem. So these are specialized in cleaning. So when another fish on the reef has maybe ectoparasites, so like a parasite on its body, or maybe just some dead sort of like, maybe it's got some debris or some dead stuff like clinging to it or something, that fish will visit the cleaner wrasse, and the cleaner wrasse will groom it, clean it for them. So they're providing that sort of service for the ecosystem, and they are very adapted to that. Which brings us into our first category that we rate animals on. If this is anyone's first time listening, this is effectiveness. Physical traits, adaptations built into the animal's body that let it do a good job of the thing it's trying to do. I'm giving them a 5 out of 10. And I'm going to try to blow through this because their physical body is not the most interesting thing about them. So, I mean, they've got a few things built in that help. First of all is really obvious coloration. They're very high contrast. So their body is just kind of like electric blue, like a sort of neon blue, almost like a shimmery, very visible blue with this black stripe right down the middle. So it's very high contrast. It's like, it's almost like a taxi cab. You know, like bright and colorful with this sort of like very visible stripe down the middle.
Sure.
They're not trying to hide. They're not trying to camouflage. They want you to see them.
Right.
They're like, please look at me.
Don't be surprised by my presence.
No. I mean, they're not going to sneak up on you, right? Like, what are they going to do? Their fins are very streamlined. Like they're just kind of like ribbony sort of, like their fins don't splay out from the body very much. And I think that's really to make sure that they're good at getting into little nooks and crannies and crevices and stuff. The big thing I want to talk about here in like physical, Christian's taking a Capri-Sun break. I'm sorry to call you out. It's funny to me that you're drinking a Capri-Sun.
Grip it and sip it.
I don't know why it's funny to me. Capri-Sun, possibly the loudest possible beverage you could be drinking.
I don't know about
context. That. It's the only crinkly beverage. How do you have a crinkly beverage while recording a podcast? I'm going to leave in all the sounds, too. I'm going to leave in all the...
Yeah, bet.
So I can put you on blast for drinking a Capri-Sun while recording. The biggest thing physically, like, about them that I really wanted to touch on here, because it's going to be important later, is something we've touched on for other fish before. It's called sequential hermaphroditism.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember this?
I think I can guess based on the name.
What do you know about this?
It sounds like an animal in which it can change its sex, but perhaps in only one direction.
Right.
Yes.
Do you remember when we've talked about this before?
Yes. Also fish.
Yeah. A couple times it's come up, actually.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint.
Was it also the parrotfish?
Yeah, it was also the parrotfish.
Okay.
But there was one other time that's like a really, really, really famous one, like a very, very well-known one. Do you know what? Do you remember what it was?
Oh, the clownfish.
Yeah. So in both of those cases, this is a species that starts. They're all born, like when they in this case, hatching out of an egg. They all start off one sex, and at some point in their life, something triggers a change where they switch to whether they start off as male and become female, or they start off as female and become male. So clownfish start off as male, and then if there's no other female in the area, the largest male becomes female. These cleaner wrasses do that in reverse. So they all start female, and then the largest one in the area switches to male. So the male is kind of like in charge of all of the females who are smaller. So sequential hermaphroditism is not uncommon in fish, right? We've talked about this in clownfish. We've talked about this in parrotfish. But what is less common is the ability to switch back. Okay. So normally this is a one-way street. Normally this is once you've changed... That's it. You're locked in. Like you're going to be, what was it from the clownfish? Terminally male, I think was what they called it. So once you've gone in one direction, you're not going back. But these cleaner wrasses can go back. They can revert. So once a female has switched to male, if the circumstances around them change enough, they can reverse the change and go back. So for example, like let's say there's a male cleaner wrasse and he has his little harem of females, or he's got a female that he's mated with or something, and he, for whatever reason, loses all of the females that he has access to. Maybe they all die. Whatever happens, he now is maidenless. Then he's looking for more females. He's looking for another female, but instead he happens upon another larger male. He could move along and try to find more females. Or he could settle and shrug his shoulders and go, all right, good enough. And switch back to female and join with the larger male. He's not going to fight that larger male. Like, he's going to get wrecked. But he may switch back to female and then join the other male's harem. Even though he started as female, switched to male, and then switched back.
Sure. Now, how many of these changes they got?
I don't know what the limit is. I would be really interested to see how many times they can do this, and if so, like, because I'm thinking about how like a lizard regrows its tail, like the tail grows back a little smaller, so like they couldn't do it forever. Like there's like a limit to how many times they could do it. I'm just wondering, like, if something changes about them. And when they switch back to female, they can still lay eggs. Like they're perfectly reproductively viable. Which is interesting because that tells me that like whatever structure their body is like relying on is not destroyed in the process.
Right.
It's just changed in some way, and then they can re-access it later. Very interesting that they can like go back and forth that way.
That infinite respec glitch.
Yeah. They just go back to Withers and pay him 100 gold and reclass. That was citation 1. So if you'd like to read that paper, go to the work cited. That is all I really can go into for effectiveness, because the real fascinating, the meat and potatoes of the cleaner wrasse is in the next category we rate animals on, which is ingenuity, behaviors, things the animal is doing, clever things they're doing, ways that they are like solving problems or navigating their world. I'm giving them a 10 out of 10, like wholeheartedly. 1,000,000 out of 10 I would give them if I could. I've never seen anything like this.
Okay.
This is wild. Okay. So the relationship they have with the fish that they clean is called cleaning symbiosis, right? Symbiosis, there are a lot of different types of symbiosis. Symbiosis means like species living in relationship to each other. So cleaning is an example of mutualism, where they're both benefiting from it. The cleaner fish is getting a meal because it's getting to eat the little ectoparasites and stuff like that off of the fish. And the fish being cleaned, which is called the client.
Ah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
The thought of fish having clients is fantastic. That's great. Imagining them with their little briefcases, going to meetings with clients. You think they got expense reports too?
They probably got little tongs and tools in the briefcase.
Yeah. So the client fish benefits by being cleaned, right? Like having parasites removed, having debris cleared away from their body. Everyone's gaining from this. So that means that the predators are incentivized to not eat the cleaner fish. So if you've ever seen something like a really big grouper with its mouth open and this tiny little fish is just darting inside of its mouth, getting in its gills, getting under its fins, and the grouper is just like passively, like patiently not bothering the cleaner while it's doing this. This is because of this mutualism, right? Everyone's benefiting from this. So everyone is trying to like maintain this relationship. So a cleaner wrasse will kind of set up shop. They'll have a cleaning station. So it'll be like a really conspicuous spot in the reef. Maybe there's like a big flat rock or the opening of a cave or something like that. They'll have a little spot that's going to be their cleaning station. And the cleaner wrasse will do a little dance. Will kind of like dance around.
Okay.
And they're kind of acting like those waving inflatable arm men. You know what I mean? Like outside of like car dealerships and stuff. Like, hey, look over here. Or like the sign twirlers, you know, that do the dances and stuff.
Oh, you know what came to mind?
What?
It was the state fair, and then like everyone with a driveway and like a 5-mile radius, like, give me $15 to park here.
No, not them. Give me $15. So they're kind of like, they're doing this little dance, and as like other fish are passing by, they're also kind of doing that thing where they're kind of like, it's almost like giving out free samples, where like a fish will swim by and the cleaner wrasse will come and just a little bit. They'll just do a little bit, like a taste, you know?
Yeah.
It's like those guys like in New York City and stuff, where like when you're stuck in traffic, they'll come up and start washing your window, right? Because they like want you to pay them or something.
I was thinking of the shoe cleaners at the mall.
I mean, I don't feel like the shoe cleaners are that aggressive, though.
That'd be funny.
This is like a more aggressive thing than that.
Sure.
Sometimes they're like going out and like being a little annoying about it. Yeah. But so once they have an interested client, right, a bigger fish, will stop at the cleaning station and kind of assume a position that signals that they would like to be cleaned. So maybe they'll hold their fins out to the side, or they'll hold their mouth open. They will have some sort of posture that tells the cleaner, I'm ready. I would like for you to clean me, please. And then the cleaner gets to work. They scurry around their body. They pick off parasites, dead tissue, debris. They're even getting up in like the gills and stuff. For people who are fans of car detailing videos, like me, I love a car detailing video. And you know, they're like scrubbing up in the air vents and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that stuff.
So does this mean fish that are primarily ram ventilators don't utilize this kind of service?
I would imagine they would not, because they would need to keep it moving. Well, you wouldn't see that type of fish in a reef.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I guess maybe things like nurse sharks or something, which would be buccal pumpers that don't rely on like swimming around so much. So yeah, this requires staying still.
Yeah.
This is like obviously a very mutually beneficial relationship. Everyone's gaining something. Everyone is getting something out of this arrangement, but it gets more complicated.
Okay.
It's not always perfect, because what the wrasses really like is the mucus that coats their clients. The mucus coating on their clients, or like living tissue. Yeah. That's going to be way more nutritionally valuable than just little things like tiny little parasites or dead tissue or things like that. Like that kind of stuff is like okay, but what they really want is the mucus. But the client also wants their mucus.
Yeah.
They do not want their cleaner to take their mucus because the mucus is important to their health, right? I talked about this in the parrotfish episode that like the sort of mucus coating around a fish is really important. It keeps them healthy and it's like energetically expensive to make. So if the cleaner is taking their mucus, that means they're going to have to like heal it. They don't like it. They don't want you to do that.
Right.
So if the cleaner is eating mucus or live tissue off of the fish by taking a little nibble, sometimes they get a little nibble here and there, that's called cheating.
Oh.
So this is like an important part of cleaning dynamics. Cheating is where the cleaner is taking more than they should. They're overindulging. They're taking mucus or live tissue off of the client. The client will be mad if they catch the cleaner doing this.
Right.
So if the client is like a large predatory fish, like a grouper or a moray eel or something, they obviously have the option of just eating the wrasse.
Right.
They're like, oh, if you're going to cheat, I'm going to cheat back, right? Because that's how they can cheat. They can cheat by just eating the wrasse.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is mutually assured destruction.
Well,
like, you take my mucus, I will just eat you.
Well,
like,
it's not exactly equal destruction, but
it's not. And the cleaners also have another imbalance of power in the opposite direction if the fish they're cleaning is not a predator and is too small to eat the cleaner. So say something like a damselfish, which is going to be a lot smaller. They don't have the option of eating the cleaner. The cleaner can cheat them. The client cannot cheat back because what are they going to do? You know, like they can't get the cleaning for free or something.
Sure.
So what they have to do is impose these sort of like punishments on the cleaner. So if the cleaner cheats, they will either end the session, right, by just swimming away, or they will like bully the cleaner, like chase it around and make a big show of like, hey guys, everyone look, this cleaner just cheated me.
Boo this man.
Boo this man. And so they bully the cleaner in order to sort of like keep them honest and like impose a sort of punishment. There has to be like a negative repercussion for cheating. Huh. So in addition to the immediate repercussions of like, okay, now my client has left and now that's ended the session, I'm not going to have any more opportunity to forage. I need to go find another client. Or you've just been chased around, which is like energetically wasteful and not good. You don't want that either. You've also now lost a client because that client probably won't come back to you. And also all the other fish nearby saw that happen and they're not going to come to you either.
Right.
So now you have to work a lot harder to get your next client. So there is this sort of like immediate cost and repercussion to cheating. So sometimes the cleaner might even apologize to a client.
Oh.
So like if they cheated that client previously, they'll be extra nice on the next time because they remember. They remember if they saw that client before. And when that client comes back, if the client comes back, then they'll be like extra nice. They'll be like really thorough, or they'll give a lot of like soothing sort of like tactile like touches and stuff.
Yeah.
So they'll be like really doting to kind of like win them back over.
Oh.
Yeah. So like they'll kind of apologize, be like, hey man, I've changed. I've been to therapy. I'm working on myself. Like it's not going to happen again.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think is very, very interesting. And the client also has the option of just visiting another cleaner, right? So like there are things the client can do to sort of keep the cleaner honest in these situations. That's citation number 2. Now, the way that they tested this in this 2005 study was really interesting. They trained cleaner wrasses by feeding them. They would give them like a plate of food with either shrimp, which is delicious and they like very much, to represent a desired food item, or flake, which is mid. It's whatever. It's food, but they would strongly prefer the shrimp. So for some of the wrasses, when they ate the delicious shrimp instead of the flakes, the plate would be taken away, simulating a flea. Like if you take the shrimp, you lose access to the food to simulate the client running away. Or sometimes the plate would chase the fish around to simulate a punishment. So like they would like have the plate chase the fish to kind of like simulate them being punished for taking the shrimp. And they found that the wrasses in these tanks were a lot less likely to eat the shrimp, even though they obviously preferred it. Like they really wanted the shrimp, but they were able to figure out, once I eat that shrimp, my meal's going away, and they stopped eating the shrimp. So like they learned like, hey, my actions have a consequence. So even though this is what I want to do and this is what I would prefer to do, I'm going to choose not to do it because I don't want the consequence. Like I don't want the punishment of being chased around or losing my food. So it's like the marshmallow test. You know what I mean?
Marshmallow test.
Do you know about the marshmallow test? It's like this psychological experiment. As far as I know, it's been performed on like usually on little kids, where like you give a kid a marshmallow and you say, I'm going to leave the room and I'm going to come back in 10 minutes. And if the marshmallow is still here, I'll give you like 2 marshmallows.
Oh.
And you see if the kid can like delay gratification, basically.
I see.
Like can like critically think like, oh, if I just don't eat this marshmallow now, then I'll get more marshmallows later. So it's kind of like that idea of like self-control and regulation and being like, I'm not going to do the thing that I want to do because I think I'll have a better outcome if I do something different.
I don't want to be chased by the ghost.
I don't want to be chased by a ghost. Which is an incredible, very sophisticated critical thinking, I feel like, for such a small fish. And they don't have like a particularly sophisticated brain. Like their brain isn't any bigger than similar species of wrasse. So it's like, why? It's very interesting that they were able to do this. So there was also another study in 2013. And in this study, it included both bluestreak cleaner wrasses and a non-cleaning species, the pinstripe wrasse. And it showed that the non-cleaning species did not change their foraging behavior. They could not figure this out. Like they just kept eating the shrimp, or they just kept eating their preferred food item regardless of what happened when they did that. So they didn't seem like they were able to like, they were either not able to understand the consequence or not control their behavior and like adapt to, okay, when I do this, my food gets taken away. So it seems like it is specific to the cleaning dynamic, right? Of like, if I do this thing, my food's going to be taken away. So I need to not do this thing because they're relying on the response of the client, right? Like they are relying on the client not fleeing. So they have to like be a little bit more responsive in their behavior.
Yeah.
Really interesting. That was citation number 3. So this cheating dynamic between the cleaner and the client is a real life model of something called the iterated prisoner's dilemma. Have you heard of the prisoner's dilemma?
It sounds familiar.
It's like the trolley problem.
Okay.
It's not like the trolley problem, but it's kind of in that sort of like vein.
Sure.
Have you like ever heard of it?
I think I might if you start explaining it.
It's a concept in game theory. It's kind of like one of those thought experiment sort of things. The idea is that you have 2 players, and each player is in the role of a prisoner. Each prisoner is presented with the option of testifying against the other, betraying the other player. So if both players stay silent and cooperate with each other, they both serve a 1-year sentence. If one of them testifies against the other, but the other doesn't, the one who testified goes free. But the one they testified against serves a 3-year sentence. So tripling the negative consequence, right? Now they're serving. So you're screwing over the other person. You have the option of betraying the other person to give yourself a better outcome and them a much worse one. But if both players testify against the other, so if they both betray each other, they both serve 2 years, which is double the original sentence.
Right.
So if they both betray each other, they get a worse outcome. But the worst one is from getting betrayed asymmetrically. So that's the prisoner's dilemma, is like when you're presented with the option of like betraying the other one to benefit yourself or not, one player can obtain a benefit at the cost of the other. So in the case of these fish, the cleaner can cheat and bite the client, or the client can eat the cleaner for an easy meal. They can both cheat each other. They can both betray each other. Now, on its own, played just once, the most strategically viable option is always to betray the other player, because you have a higher reward possibility of getting out free immediately and a lower risk. You're not going to get that 3-year sentence of being the one that got betrayed, right? So it's a higher reward and a lower risk. You, plain and simple, it's always going to be better for you to betray the other person when played once.
Okay.
But since these interactions with these fish are, I mean, optimistically not a one-time thing, right? You're going to be seeing the same fish over and over again and interacting with the same individual multiple times. This is a variation that's called the iterated prisoner's dilemma, where you're playing the same game multiple times. And you know the outcome and remember the outcome, like from instance to instance. So you remember if the person that you're playing with betrayed you or cooperated with you multiple times. In studies on this, studies have shown that the likelihood of cooperation, which means both players choosing to stay silent and help each other out to get like a kind of better outcome, the likelihood of cooperation increases the more times the game is played, especially if one player chooses to stay silent. So if one player is just only betraying over and over again, it's not likely to start happening. But if at least one of the players is choosing to cooperate, then the likelihood of cooperation increases the more times the game is played. So it is kind of like a building of trust between players, just like the trust established between these cleaners and their clients. So this is basically like a real life model in nature of like this game theory thought experiment.
Wow.
Like you can see it play out in real time. So that's why a lot of papers on these fish and their dynamics specifically talk about like the prisoner's dilemma, because it's like an interesting way to see how it plays out in the real world with real actual stakes.
So do they pick the best option usually?
It's not 100% of the time.
Okay.
And actually, they go through some interesting, like, almost flow charts of thought process and, like, when deciding whether to cheat or not, because they still do it. It's not like they never cheat.
Right.
But they're very strategic about it.
Well, I guess another factor here is if you get caught cheating.
I'm glad you asked about that. This is probably a good point for a promo break. So let's take a quick break to hear from our friends on the Max Fun Network. And when we get back, I have so much more to talk about. It gets so much deeper. I'm so excited. You want a Capri-Sun break?
Yeah.
Go get your Capri-Sun.
It's getting toasty.
Jackie Cation, hi, and welcome to the MaximumFun.org podcast, The Jackie and Laurie Show, where we talk about stand-up comedy and how much we love it and how much it enrages us.
We have a lot of experience and a lot of stories and a lot of time on our hands. So check us out. It's 1 hour a week, and we drop it every Wednesday on MaximumFun.org.
Most of the plants humans eat are technically grass.
Most of the asphalt we drive on is almost a liquid.
The formula of WD-40 is San Diego's greatest secret.
Zippers were invented by a Swedish immigrant love story.
On the podcast Secretly Incredibly Fascinating, we explore this type of amazing stuff.
Stuff about ordinary topics like cabbage and batteries and socks.
Topics you'd never expect to be the title of the podcast. Secretly Incredibly Fascinating.
Find us by searching for the word secretly in your podcast app.
And at MaximumFun.org.
Do you need another Capri-Sun, my liege?
That was our last refrigerated one.
Sorry, Christian doesn't take lukewarm Capri-Suns. So think back to something I mentioned earlier about the sort of social dynamics between the cleaner Wrasses. So it's usually one male cleaner, and he has either one female that he's mated with or multiple females in a sort of harem situation.
Sure.
Since male cleaner Wrasses usually maintain a territory with multiple partner females, the male and the female will often team up to inspect and clean clients together. So they have a sort of joint partnered cleaning. They both together are working on a client. Now, in this situation, the prisoner's dilemma is now between the two cleaning partners, because at any time, one of them could choose to cheat and bite the client. But the client would then turn on both of them,
right? And
they would both be punished. So at any time, one of them could choose to cheat, but that would incur a cost on both of them. But only one of them would get the benefit of like extra food, right? Like a little bit of extra nutrition or something. So now they have to trust each other. It's not just between. So now the cleaners have to trust their client and their partner, right?
Okay.
So now you've got multiple different sort of like tensions going on where everyone has to trust each other. So if and when, because it does happen, a female partner cheats and bites the fish, the male has been shown to very aggressively punish the female.
Oh.
Like not only are they getting, called out by the client, but the male will aggressively punish her. Like the male cleaner will chase her. Now, usually it doesn't go the other way around. The female will not usually punish the male if the male is the one who cheats, but the male will very, very aggressively punish the female. He'll chase her around. It basically like, hey, you're making me look bad out here. Like, cut it out.
It's like a manager at a store, like chastising an employee that robbed a customer or something.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, you're making me look terrible out here, man. Yeah. So they're like getting in trouble with the boss, basically. Now, remember from earlier that a female can become male if she gets big enough.
Yeah.
This means that she could potentially turn from subservient partner to a direct competitor if she gets access to more nutrients and grows. Oh. So when she's cheating, when she is taking more food from the client, not only is that making the client angry, but that's also feeding her more and giving her more access to food than the male, which means she could grow more than the male and become a male to compete with him. Okay. So he is extra incentivized to not let her do that. Like, it is extra important to him that she not only to not make the client mad, but to make sure she does not reach a size where she could become male. And in fact, a 2011 study showed that if a female partner is already getting pretty close to his own size, the male partner's punishment responses become way more aggressive and intense. Like, it is way more important to him that she not steal and not cheat the client because he knows she's getting close. Like, he knows that she's getting a little big, and if she gets much bigger, she could become a male and compete with him. So, like, they become extra aggressive and extra punitive to try to, like, socially enforce, like, the hierarchy of, like, no, you need to remember that, like, you're the female, you are supposed to be, like, subservient, I'm the boss here. So, like, he becomes more aggressive in enforcing that dynamic when like, she's getting close to being at risk of becoming his competitor. Yeah, very, very interesting. That was citation number 4. Then in 2021, there was a study on male and female wrasses that showed that the female this is the wildest thing I've ever seen. The female wrasses seemed to be considering whether or not the male could physically see her when deciding whether to cheat or not. Oh. So this was using kind of the same setup as earlier, where, like, they're presented with, like, desirable shrimp versus mid kind of flakes. But the difference here was that sometimes the male was behind, like, an opaque barrier, and sometimes he was behind a transparent barrier. So first they showed that when the male was behind the opaque barrier, the female was a lot more likely to take the shrimp. Even though the punishment was the same either way, she was more likely to do it when the male couldn't see her. Okay. And at one point in the experiment, they offered 2 plates on either side of the tank. And one plate was behind transparent glass, and the male could see it. The other plate was behind an opaque barrier, and the male could not see it. The females were way more likely to go to the hidden plate. Because they knew the male couldn't see it. So they were like, they knew, okay, he can't see me if I go behind that one. So they would go behind the one he couldn't see so that they could try to take the shrimp. So it seemed like they were actively considering, okay, I'm gonna try to sneak one past him. Like, I'm gonna try to not get caught with my hand in the cookie jar, you know? Like, they're actively trying to deceive their partners so that they can try to cheat. But also, like, thinking about, okay, well, I know he's there, right? Like, because this was like a partial wall, right? They know he's there, but they also know that he can't see through that part of the barrier. So they would go to the part he couldn't see.
That is very interesting.
Isn't that wild? Yeah. Like, the thought process required to be like, okay, I know he doesn't want me to do this. I know something bad's going to happen to me if he sees me do this, but I can still do it if I just don't get caught. Wild to me.
I like this quest for desirable shrimp.
Yeah. The shrimp is used to, like, represent just, like, a more desirable food object in this, like, you know, so obviously you can't really, like, replicate natural conditions 1-to-1. This is just, like, the best way you could simulate the dynamic. But yeah, she would go out of her way to try to hide. Fascinating. That was citation number 5. Mm-hmm. The cleaner fish also seem to use this perception, this ability to understand what other fish are perceiving strategically, not just with other cleaners, but between them and the clients, and between them and passersby, and them and prospective clients, right? So they seem to be able to understand what other fish can see and what it will make them do. Imagine a cleaner fish with a small client, like a damselfish. A small client is not going to offer the cleaner very much nutritional opportunity. There's not going to be very much payoff here. There's not a lot of mucus anyway. There's not a lot of parasites on them. They're probably not going to be getting a lot of food from this exchange.
Right.
However, they do serve a very important purpose of what this paper referred to as image scoring.
This is marketing.
It's marketing. It's fish PR. Anyone who's ever played a video game that has like a karma or notoriety system, you're like in Assassin's Creed, where like if you get caught doing bad stuff, then like you'd have like notoriety, and it would like make it harder for you to sneak through crowds and stuff.
Yes, or in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto has something like this too. Yeah, where like, what is it, a bounty or something?
Basically, it's like a star system where
Yeah.
the more that gets up there, the worse that stuff comes after you.
Yes. So it's that.
Yeah.
It is that, but in the reef. Other fish in the reef either swimming by or like waiting in line, because sometimes fish will actually wait in line at the cleaning station. They'll form like a queue and like they'll wait for their turn at the cleaning station. So there's going to be a lot of other fish nearby. So cleaners know that there's other fish watching, there's other fish waiting. So when a small client who's not going to be very much payoff, a small client comes through, the cleaner will be extra nice and like really doting on the small client. They'll like give it lots of like reassuring sort of tactile stimulation. They'll be very thorough with it. They're like really kind of on their A game. Like they'll do a really good job with these small clients because they know that other fish swimming by are going to see, oh, that cleaner's doing a really good job. They must be a really good cleaner. They look really trustworthy. It gives them a good reputation, right? And so then a big client sees this interaction happening, and then the big client comes through. That's where the moneymaker is.
Oh.
They're literally working for exposure. I cannot believe this.
You know
what I mean?
The little ones have to sign a waiver to be on their Instagram.
Yeah, they gotta sign a media release. It is really fascinating because the cleaner knows that if they give a good service and don't cheat, it's going to make them look more trustworthy, right? So even if they want to cheat, they'll hold back. They'll be like, oh, I'm going to do a good job on this one because like everyone's watching and I want to make sure that like this is going to look good on the gram.
This must be that free market I keep hearing about.
It's free market. It's so free market coded. It really is. It's this idea of like, oh, but here's the thing. I want you to keep that in mind when I say this next thing.
Yeah.
In this 2002 study on how cleaner fish use altruism to gain image, it also showed that they often followed up these altruistic behaviors on small clients by exploiting their next big client.
Oh.
So when they would like use the small client to look good, to draw in a big client, and then when the big client came through, they'd cheat them.
Okay, I see.
Because they're like, that's where the big money is.
Huh.
Like, it was like way more often they cheated after like using this like altruism to get a client.
Yeah.
So they're like doing it for like a good review. And then when a big like grouper or something would come by, they'd take a bite of that one. Isn't that wild?
It is. Is it less likely to be noticed by a bigger fish?
I think it's probably a little bit less likely to be noticed, but it's also probably, there's just more there,
Less
right?
harm.
Yeah. And also, like, I feel like when it's a bigger client, you may have you have more opportunity to swim away, right? Like,
Sure.
if you're like up in their gills or something like that, like they're not going to be able to get you right away. So you might be able to like escape from that encounter. But yeah, it's almost like, and I don't know if this was in the paper, but it almost seemed pre-planned of like, I'm going to be on my A game because I want to cheat somebody. So I'm going to like look really, really good for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I want to cheat somebody later.
They're waiting for that white whale.
Yeah. Which this is fascinating to me because this really, it's performative. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of a fish being performative other than like for mating displays and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like this is being performative for other species, which is wild. Isn't that just crazy?
Yeah. Can't help but think of the movie.
What movie?
Shark Tale.
Oh gosh. Was there cleaner wrasse in that?
Nah, I don't think specifically, but a big part of that movie was around fish setting up a car wash for whales, basically.
Oh, I forgot about that. I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
Yeah.
This is not, whales wouldn't do this.
No.
Whales would never fall for this. I wonder how much of this is also like dependent upon most fish being really dumb. And like you can pull stunts like this because the fish won't notice. Well, but it's interesting because a lot of times the client fish will remember. They'll remember if a certain cleaner like did them wrong and they won't come back to them. They'll go to a different cleaner.
There has to be a size though where it just doesn't matter anymore. Like a Goliath grouper will not even notice a 4-inch wrasse.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I do think sometimes they just get away with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I was reading this other paper about how like sometimes the clients will give them a warning. They'll make a noise or they'll like do a twitch or something that lets the cleaner know like, hey, I saw that. Don't do it again. Like they'll give them a little warning or something before like totally turning on them.
Huh.
But the clients will remember. And also the cleaner will remember if they already cheated that client or they'll like remember. And that actually is a really good segue for the next really important thing to talk about for cleaner wrasses. Have you ever heard of the mirror test?
Like with beta fish? No, that's
no.
No.
Think bigger animals. Think elephants, chimpanzees, dolphins. Seals,
oh, this is like testing to see if they recognize it's their reflection.
Yes.
Not a different animal or something.
Testing for self-awareness.
Yes.
If they can recognize that they exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've heard of this?
I think so.
They've passed this test.
Wow.
I don't know if they're the only one. I think by now they're not the only one, but they were the first fish ever documented like passing the mirror test.
How does a fish pass this test?
So glad you asked.
How would we give them a passing grade for this?
So glad you asked. A test of self-awareness in animals is usually done by introducing the animal to its own reflection in a mirror and seeing if it can tell that they are looking at themselves and not another animal. So this is usually determined by first you let an animal learn its reflection. It's probably never seen a mirror before.
Right.
So it takes a little while for them to figure out what it is they're looking at.
Yeah.
So first you need to see if they like calm down.
Yeah.
They're usually going to be weirded out at first, but first you want to see if they calm down. If they don't calm down, that's usually mission failed.
Well, because to them, this is like the equivalent of a rip in time and space.
Yeah, they're like, what has happened here? This is a portal. You've showed me a portal.
What abyssal horror is this?
So first you need to see if they can learn their reflection. If they can like chill out, realize that they're looking at themselves and like not be so agitated and aggressive when they see it. And then what they do is they add a mark to the animal's body that's visible only in the mirror. So it has to be somewhere where the animal would not otherwise be able to see it on itself.
Sure.
So on elephants, they might put like some paint on the elephant's face or ear or something like that. Because normally the elephant can't see that part of itself.
Sure.
And then they show it the mirror and they see if the animal touches or in some way investigates the place where the mark is on their own body, not on the mirror, right? Yeah. They're not supposed to be reaching for the mirror. They need to understand that it is on their own body and like touch their own body accordingly. And this usually involves also like you have to have a control group where you like put something on their face, but it's not visible. Like maybe it's like transparent or something. And then see if they also touch that to see if it's just like the mark of the act of marking the face made them touch their face. Like there's ways you can control for that. So there was a 2019 study, was published in 2019. It put cleaner wrasses to the mirror test by introducing them to their own reflections. So at first, as expected, the fish are very mad and they attack the mirror quite a lot.
Yeah.
They very aggressively. Anyone who's ever had a beta fish and put a mirror up to it knows what this looks like. They are going to town.
Okay, so that's actively failing at that point.
Yeah, beta fish are really bad at the mirror test. So the fish get really, really mad. But then after the first day, they chill out, they stop attacking their reflection. Then the researchers noticed that the fish that were exposed to a mirror started swimming really unusually. So the fish that had a mirror like next to their tank started swimming upside down, which had never been seen in this species and was only documented during the study when the fish was exposed to a mirror. The wrasses like exposed to a mirror would just start posturing very strangely or swimming upside down to look at themselves in the mirror because they've never seen that before.
I see.
So they're like inspecting their body. They're like trying to see what they look like because this had never been documented in any other circumstance. Like these fish had never been documented doing that. Only in this study when they were shown a mirror.
That had to have been a surprise because they certainly weren't expecting it or theorizing that would happen.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if this was something that like an expected outcome, but it was definitely of note. Like, it was interesting. So they start swimming upside down and they start like kind of posturing and looking at themselves, not aggressively, but like they're checking themselves out. They're curious. Yeah. And then the researchers added a small gel mark to the fish's throat. Since these are fish, you can't put paint on them because it would just rub off. So it had to be a gel injection. Like it had to be like right underneath the skin that made a little like bubble or a little stain like on their throat. So in one group, it was transparent. So there was nothing in there. They just injected a transparent gel just to make sure it wasn't the process that was making them behave any differently. But in some, the gel was brown, and it made this visible mark that looks like a parasite stuck to the bottom of their throat. So it's like it makes a brown dot on their throat. So in the fish that received no mark or a transparent mark, their behavior and posturing didn't really change. But in the ones that got a brown mark, they seemed to spend way more time posturing in front of the mirror in a way that reflected the marked site. So they were trying to get a good look at what was going on in their throat. And then the fish with brown marks started scraping their throats on the bottom of the tank.
Wow.
Like they would look at the mirror, look at their throat, swim away, scrape their throat on the bottom of the tank.
Yeah.
And then they would come back and look again. Like to see if they got it.
Wow.
And they kept doing it over and over again, and they stopped when the mirror was taken away. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Like they were like looking to see like, oh, do I have something in my teeth? Do I have
Right.
Is there something here? And then they would go try to fix it, and then they'd come back to check to see if they got it.
So they had to get used to the concept of a mirror at all.
Right.
And then they had to
grapple with the sense of self, existential crisis.
And then become familiar of what their default state looks like.
Right. Yeah. Figure out what they look like.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, hey, there's something weird about this now.
Like something has changed.
Yeah, like this is different. This wasn't there yesterday.
Yes, and then combining it with the first step of like, oh, something has changed with me.
Right. I'm the problem. And then go try to fix it.
Yeah.
And then come back. And it didn't seem like it was like a physical sensation either, right? It wasn't like, oh, there's something bothering my throat, because there were some that received the same treatment, but it wasn't visible. And they didn't seem bothered by it at all. So they just were like, oh, well, I don't feel anything, but I look weird, so I'm going to go see if I could get this thing off of me.
Wow. Ain't that something?
It's wild. That was citation 7. And then also this paper got some sort of critiques. Obviously, this is a huge claim. Like, this is big. So there were a lot of critiques. And then the authors actually did a follow-up study in 2022 that added a bunch of new stuff to the experiment. Like, they had a way bigger sample size. They tried different colored markings. They found that blue and green markings did not do the same thing as a brown marking. It was specifically a brown marking made them scrape their throats, but like a blue marking didn't.
Okay, is that implying their vision, like what colors they can see very easily?
I think it implies that a brown mark more closely resembles a parasite they would normally encounter. So it's just like an ecologically relevant like thing.
So not only do they notice, but they care about it.
Right. So they're like, oh no, this is a problem.
Whereas the other colors, maybe they did notice, they just don't care.
Yeah, parasites aren't usually that color. Okay. So like, it's probably fine. They also moved the mirror. Like, they tried moving the mirror to see if they would still recognize themselves, and they did.
Okay.
They tried showing marked fish to unmarked fish to see if the unmarked fish would scrape their own throats.
Okay.
Like, to see if they would misinterpret the marked fish as their own reflection, and they didn't. Like, they understood. They're like, that's not me. That's a you problem. That's not about me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. So the unmarked fish were not tricked by that.
Okay.
So there's basically like this, like a DLC drop to this paper. So that's citations 7 and 8 are the original one and the follow-up paper.
Okay.
Both fascinating papers. And this was kind of ground zero of my research, because like I pulled up this paper and this paper pointed to me like 8 other papers, and then I was like, okay, I have a problem.
There's a lot of lore.
The lore goes wild. But so there's even more to this, right? So the author that did this study, his name is Masanori Koda, and he has been just putting out banger after banger, just no skips on cleaner wrasse studies. So a 2023 study by the same primary author showed that the cleaner wrasses could recognize themselves in a photograph. So once they had already learned their reflection in the mirror, they reacted calmly towards photographs of themselves, but aggressively towards photographs of other fish.
Huh.
So they knew it was them. They were like, that one's me. Even though it's a photo, that one's me. I know that one.
Huh.
But if it was a different fish, they'd be like, that's not me. And they would be mad. And they even tried, this is hilarious. They tried photoshopping the fish's own face onto a different fish's body.
Okay.
Like swap faces with an unfamiliar body.
Yeah.
And they found that when it was the fish's own face on a strange body, they were calm and chill. But when it was a strange face on their own body, they were aggressive and mad. So it's the face it was like the face specifically that they were recognizing. They're like, that's my face. I know what my face looks like, and that's not it. Is not giving the fish dysphoria. Like, what are you doing? Why are you guys making like mean edits of fish to bully them? Can you imagine if scientists just put you on they just photoshopped your head onto like some random person?
See, the next one is they're going to start with a normal picture and then slowly change it for every viewing.
They're going to JD Vance
until they think they look one way.
Oh yeah, they're going to gaslight the fish next. So, that was really, really wild. That was citation number 9. And then a 2024 study showed that after learning their reflection in a mirror, the cleaner fish were a lot less likely to behave aggressively towards fish who were slightly larger than themselves. Huh. So normally you'd introduce a cleaner wrasse to another cleaner wrasse. They're squaring up. They're not nice to each other. They don't like each other. They're reacting aggressively towards a stranger. But after you show it its reflection and let it see itself and see how big they actually are, and then you introduce them to another cleaner wrasse that's a little bigger than them, their tune changes up real quick. They don't fight them because they've been humbled in the mirror. They know how they have a much more accurate self-image, like a much more accurate idea of how big they actually are.
Okay.
And then they know, I'm bigger than, that guy's bigger than me. Actually, I'm not. I think I'm going to choose my battles on this one. I'm protecting my peace.
So, new experiment.
Yeah.
Use a funhouse mirror.
Ooh.
Make them think they're bigger than they are.
and then what? ...
Profit.
Why are you coming up with psychological torture for the fishes? But they would still fight fish that were smaller than them.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I could take that guy.
Sure.
But they were much, much, much more mindful of who they fought if they had already stored the information of how big they actually are in the mirror. So they were getting humbled in the mirror.
I see.
That is just crazy. That was citation number 10. And now this wasn't mentioned in the paper, but I think it's important here. It's important to remember the thing I talked about earlier, that the male needs to make sure that his female partners don't get bigger than him.
Sure.
I wonder if maybe this ability to understand their own body size and conceptualize it is related to that idea of I need to know if she's getting much more bigger than me yet. They need to understand that, because all of these sort of skills and abilities seem so closely tied to something they need to do in their life, right? I need to understand other fish's perspective and ability to see because it impacts my ability to forage, right? Or get away with cheating.
There's a meme that comes to mind.
Okay, what's that?
This one.
Okay, Chris is showing me a meme of a very tall woman with a microphone, and next to her is a much shorter man, quite buff, looking up at her the way a kid looks up at their mom when she's talking to a friend at a grocery store for way too long. Or what's the thing of Taika Waititi with Hela from the Thor Ragnarok movie? What's the lady's name? It wasn't Kate Blanchett, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Was it Kate Blanchett? Mm-hmm. Here you go.
Oh, yeah.
It's Taika Waititi with a much taller and more intimidating Kate Blanchett in costume behind him. Yeah. One of the things one of these papers talked about was how, when we were attempting to understand and measure and observe animals' intelligence, we need to be thinking about skills that would be ecologically relevant to that species, right? Maybe they're not good at counting. I don't know. Like maybe they don't have great mathematic cognitive abilities, but that's not important to them. So why would they have it?
Sure.
So like you need to think more about like, okay, but they actually do really heavily rely on, social interactions and reputation and perspective. So those are the things they're going to be really, really good at, because those are the things that are going to determine how successful they are in their role, right?
I wonder where the thought came from. Why test this kind of fish with the mirror test?
I think maybe because they have been known to be able to discriminate and remember faces, right, between fishes. So like they're able to remember like particular clients. They might remember a client like that they've seen before, and they can tell that one apart. Like if they've seen this grouper but not that other grouper, they can tell those grouper apart and remember them, remember which one they've seen or how they treated that one in the past. So because they're already good at things like facial discrimination and memory and like social manipulation, I guess, it would make sense that they would also be able to determine that a face belongs to them and remember that, right? Because those are the skills needed to pass the mirror test, basically, like facial recognition and memory, basically. So I think because they're already good at those things, because of their role as cleaners, it makes sense to check for that.
Yeah.
But it was really surprising that they were able to have this sense of self.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't necessarily translate, right? Like, that's not a necessity, I think. But it kind of is, because they need to understand how big they are, right?
Sure.
They need to have a sense of self, because they need to know, I cheated this client before. I am this size, and I need to make sure the female doesn't get bigger than me. Like, they need to understand things about themselves as individuals that maybe some other fish might not have to do. So it's an interesting way that their like ecological role has really shaped their cognitive skills.
Yeah.
Just wild, mind-blowing ways. Okay, so the last category we rate animals on is aesthetics. It's just how nice this animal is to look at. I'm giving them a 7 out of 10. They look pretty cool. I mean, nice color, sort of electric-y, shiny, shimmery blue with a black stripe. And as is often the case when someone gets a big enough reputation, like a cleaner fish, there are imitators. Have you heard of a false cleaner fish?
No.
It's a faker. False cleaner fish is a species of blenny. Blennies are not related to wrasses, but they look nearly identical to the cleaner wrasse. Like, one of the only ways that you can really tell them apart is that the blenny's mouth is in a different spot.
Oh.
Like, it's like got a different angled mouth, but like other than that, they're largely indistinguishable from each other. This mimicry is thought to serve 2 purposes. So the first one is something called Batesian mimicry. This is when a species mimics another to protect themselves with a dishonest signal. An example of this might be an insect who is not toxic that looks like an insect who is, because they want to benefit from the toxin without having to actually make it themselves. So like, I can just look like I'm toxic, and then because the other one is, the predators aren't going to eat me. So you're protected by that mimicry.
Yeah. And this kind of mimicry is not by choice, right? It just evolved that way.
Right. Nothing in evolution is by choice.
Right.
Nobody's choosing anything.
Yes. But it's just, that's a strange concept when we talk about mimicry and dishonesty and deceit, right?
When I say dishonest, I don't mean that the animal itself is lying on purpose. I mean that it is giving off a signal that is not true. It is expressing something about itself, or communicating something about itself that is not actually true.
Yeah.
So in this case, the blenny wants to look like the wrasse because predators tend to leave the wrasses alone, right? They see the wrasse, they think that's a cleaner, those are important, I need those around, I'm going to benefit from their services, so I need to not eat them. Okay. So if the blennies look like the wrasses, they're not going to get eaten either. Sure. So that benefits them that way. But there's also an element of aggressive mimicry, which means that sometimes the blenny will act like the wrasse. So they will also dance and advertise a cleaning station and try to lure in an unsuspecting client. But then when the client comes in thinking it's going to get cleaned by a cleaner wrasse, the blenny just bites them.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's hurting their brand.
So detrimental to the brand. And usually this only works on like younger fish who are kind of naive, like they haven't really figured out the reef yet, so they haven't learned how to tell the blennies apart, because a lot of times fish from the reef can tell the blennies apart from the wrasses. So this really only works on like more naive fish. And also, it doesn't seem to be a huge part of their diet. It's not like a super common thing. They tend to eat more things like bristleworms or eggs. They tend to eat things off of the bottom more than they do like foraging on other fish. But it's kind of like if they can dupe a mark into, sitting for them, then they'll take a bite, might as well.
Huh. How do the wrasse react to them?
I don't think there's anything they can do about it. I mean, they're roughly the same size. I don't think they can...
Well, what I mean is, does it fool them? Like, do they think, that's another wrasse?
You don't want them to do that because then they're going to fight you.
Right.
They don't like other wrasses, so they'll square up.
So maybe that keeps them from looking too similar.
I mean, if they saw a blenny that looked like them, maybe they would think it was just another wrasse, but the outcome's going to be the same. They're throwing hands.
Yeah.
I got that information from citation number 11. So yeah, that's why it's important to enforce your trademarks, people. Don't let it fall into public domain. Don't become a Kleenex. Don't become a Band-Aid. Don't let your brand deteriorate. So finally, to wrap things up, this is usually where we talk about conservation status and stuff. They're of least concern. They have a really wide range. They're found in a lot of different places. They don't seem to be particularly suffering, but obviously anything living on a reef is going to be having a hard time with reef degradation and reef habitat loss and the deterioration of reefs. So being a good steward of your ocean and supporting reef conservation is going to be a great way to support these fish. Some people do keep these cleaner wrasses in reef tanks. Some people say they can be really nice additions to the tank, but some people also say they can be deeply problematic.
Oh?
Because they do like to bully other fish.
Oh.
Like they will, if there's other wrasses, like similarly sized wrasses in the tank, they will bully them. Or they might annoy larger fish. Because if you have a small enclosed tank, they don't have enough clients coming through to be like, because in the wild, they can be cleaning hundreds, even like into the thousands of fish per day.
Yeah.
So if you're in a small tank where they don't have a ton of other clients, they're just going to be bothering the same fish over and over again all day long to clean them. Huh. So the larger fish in a tank can get really annoyed because these cleaner fish will not leave them alone. So they can get really annoying. We have seen cleaner wrasses on Tater, the potato grouper at Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium. And they're, the newer one of their aquariums that opened up that's got like the sharks and stuff in it.
Yeah.
They got this big old grouper in there. His name's Tater. Last time we were in there, he was getting cleaned by cleaner wrasses.
Aww.
And I loved it. I was so excited. I watched him for a long time. Because it's so cool to see.
Yeah.
I've always thought it was fascinating the way that like the cleaner and client both just like innately trust each other so much and like have this sort of unspoken agreement between them of like, I know what we're doing here. Like, let's both like game recognizes game. Let's all just like agree to carry out this social contract that we have between each other as fish. It's so cool. So I already going into this had a feeling I was going to find this stuff interesting, but then I got into like game theory and self-awareness and stuff. And I was like, this stuff goes a lot deeper than I thought it would.
You're right.
I almost feel like I could talk about them a lot longer, but I shan't.
Okay.
Thank you to everybody who has listened. Thank you, Christian, for hanging out with me while you're sipping on your Capri-Sun.
Mm-hmm. Anytime.
I've not had my fill of giving you a hard time over the Capri-Sun yet. For anyone, can you get it a little closer into the mic when you do that? Actually,
no, I think I did it that time.
Oh, good. Okay, let's make sure that's on the waveform. If you liked what you heard today, I would love it if you left behind some kind words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. You can also come hang out with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Discord, stuff like that. You can also send me an email at ellen@justthezooofus.com if you have a cool animal you'd like to hear us talk about on the show. We would like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network, along with the other fantastic shows you heard promos for earlier. If you want to learn more about the network and the other shows and how you can be a part of supporting our show and get access to our monthly bonus content, head over to MaximumFun.org. And finally, we'd like to thank Louis Zong for our wonderful, delightful theme music that I never get tired of. Mm-hmm. I've heard it probably, 2 or so hundred times now. Yeah. And I'm still not sick of it, which Excellent. I think is the mark of a great tune. Maybe I'm in a hostage situation with it. Maybe I'm Stockholm syndrome. No, I'm kidding. I love that tune very much. And Louis Zong has a lot of other great like music and animation projects and a lot of really, really cool stuff. So go check out Louis Zong for more of his work. And thank you, Christian, for being here.
Well, thanks for putting it all together.
Thank you. Love you.
I love you.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.